First, I should say that I've been in Southeast Asia, mapping, surveying, and understanding Southeast Asia since 2004, when I moved to Bangkok to work in a conservation governmental platform. So from this position, which was a research and development position for immaterial culture, I was able to then travel and understand Southeast Asia that was coming into its own contemporary understanding, and also as area study becoming more established. Yeah. So it was in this moment when budget airlines were not many. Also publications were not easy to access, and also when the art scene, when the contemporary art scene in the early 2000s was not able to clearly connect amongst different countries and different cities. So it was in this rather fragmented and diverse scene that I decided to bring myself in, to mobilize myself into understanding what is happening in this moment in Southeast Asia with contemporary art production. Yeah. So I must say, this is also the moment that before the whole Biennale awakening, before the art fair started to appear in the region, and also when festivals were in motion, but they were not fully engaging with one another as a regional entity. So it is in this landscape that I kind of voyaged, and to me, therefore, Southeast Asia represents the field of potential alliance and affinities, which previously, as a Singaporean who also has roots in Malaysia, and then having made base in Bangkok for 12 years, that for me is the richness of the region. Yeah. Of course, I look at the region through contemporary art production, but I must also say that contemporary art production in the region cannot be separated from an understanding of its ancient past and its cultural development, or its cultural genealogies. How this field, this very small but intense and dense region are connected somehow through certain shared cultural features and histories, but also very vastly different. Yeah. So this kind of field of tension is what kind of drives me to keep finding out what other ways we're connected in. Sometimes it's it's not just contemporary art production as in art. I also think that you have to understand, or I gradually found myself reading more about religion, reading more about shared political histories, also through other cultural affinities such as food, fashion, other material heritage that we are somehow connected. But I'm not, of course, interested in this collectivist history alone. I'm also trying to understand what then sets us apart. Yeah. So in this understanding of how the past, the present, the nation state and the regional histories are coming together to create a very diverse world, and not necessarily utopic. I don't look at this coming together in let's say anthropological fantasy of connectedness, but to really understand how, therefore, where we are today really comes from that set of historical experience and journey. And of course, to prompt further understanding of how we could understand one another better, or maybe begin to dialogue more compassionately and more with equal regard.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think this full equality will ever be achieved. I don't think so. But it's just to understand how the processes could lead us to better clarity and better wisdom at the end of the day. I don't think so, because the moment you think of or classify a region, as in elsewhere, African, Pan-African or Latin America as blocks, kind of bound by certain shared histories and experiences, you inevitably also fall into certain cliches. Yeah, so it is also a challenge throughout that we have to question how we reframe and read one another and as a block. Yeah, that is beyond economic, beyond political definitions and borders, but on the how art actually has served and we will serve to kind of make us understand difference and diversity, and to work towards conditions that allow better dialogue and collaborations. In formulating the curatorial theme assembly, I immediately realized that I'm setting into motion a discursive platform. It is no longer about just presenting beautiful artworks, complete, perfect artworks for mere consumption. But to bring into to level up discourse and discussion that would accompany production and creation. So it was therefore important to me that participation enters the curatorial frame and the program henceforth as a more active way of going beyond market consumption, but to draw it closer towards reflection, articulation, self-reflexivity, as well as to kind of make the spectator and spectatorship a more active role, which I think in many state festivals we have not been able to propose to the public in a strong way. So this is, I'm lucky at the Taipei Arts Festival on the 20th anniversary edition, I'm given this space to propose such a discursive platform. And hence participation figures at every level, from creation itself, that I then invite actively ordinary people to take part in productions that are discursively framed by the artist, so as to reveal social differences or non-standard practices and perspectives on stage, without altering individuality for the sake of a spectacular display. I also look at participation on mass levels in public spheres, such as Fun Run, which invites social representation autonomously to present itself in the platform, on stage, in public view. So, and then of course there are also a number of works in progress that invite participation from the public to provide data, stories, histories to be computed into the work in its final form. So it is also a way of participation is also a way of research as a method. So it's not just like you come in, you took part in this thing, and then that's it. I think the creations or the kinds of processes that I present in the festival highlight the need to engage and to research and to think before we attempt to complete a creation. So, what else I can share? I mean, participation to me also means a resistance, a sort of resistance to identities and status that are not always easily discussed, or conventional theatre would not tackle it with new approaches and methods. So, for instance, I found one existing practice in Taipei to be really moving, and it is the juggling battle. The juggling battle is set up by Singhe, who used to be part of a circus troupe. For him, it no longer made sense to be part of circus spectacle production. How well you can throw this, and be part of this production that is about this fantasy of the beautiful and the amazing. It is for him it's more important that the social aspects of gathering his community of independent judges together, and then to recognize one another and to validate one another through a battle form. That juggling battle takes this form after hip hop battle, without the hip hop. So basically, they battle each other with different kinds of skills and different kinds of tools, meaning there is no set criteria for evaluation, for aesthetic, artistic achievement. It is all subjective, from the audience, from the jury, individual members. So it is in this kind of non-standard, what I call non-standard approaches, that we start to see how a community, temporary community, comes together, finds its solidarity, legitimizes itself, and enhances its own cohesiveness and its own social imagination. And then they, of course, the energy is extremely high, and then they get this affirmation, and then they split up, and then a year later they meet again. And each time they meet, the community grows. Yeah. So this year, for instance, under the festival platform, it is recognized as an artistic process, not just an amateur itinerant practice. That it is an artistic, under artistic lens, receives the support to enable it to invite more international participants and mentors. Yeah. So in this way, I'm very happy that the Taipei Arts Festival this edition really seeks to push certain practices to another limit. Yeah, to kind of, to use a different pair of frame to understand its conditions of production and its social meaning. Yeah, rather than just say, oh, it is something like Cirque du Soleil. I'm not looking for Cirque du Soleil, because if I wanted Cirque du Soleil, I invite Cirque du Soleil. But this is another form of participation that is resisting what we already know as, habitual consumption of, like in this case, surplus. Yeah, to kind of move it into another framework and to see another set of meaning out of this coming together. Yeah. First, my understanding of Taiwan is that it is geographically in a site of negotiation. A site of negotiation means politically, culturally, it is full of multiple identities. On one hand, you can align Taiwan as part of East Asia, but also on the other way, you can look further south and align Taiwan as part of Southeast Asia, the South, and the South would even go all the way down to Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, so it's composed. Taiwan as a society is composed of such fragmented identities that it is in this plurality and this divisiveness that is inherent in its history and DNA and contemporary dilemma. Fascinating, really fascinating, but it at once disperses it to be aligned in multiple directions. So it is in this flexibility and fluidity and hybridity, whether it is from Han Chinese history that you trace its genealogy, or to its Aboriginal history across maritime formation, or if you wish to look at it from its connection to Japan and its colonial past, there's still actually there's a layer of Japaneseness that still persists in the society, or to its awakening to democracy, which of course borrows its model or follows its model from the West. Yeah. So all these plural identities therefore makes Taiwan so experimental and full of potentialities. So it is in this that I feel that Southeast Asia is also and should begin to also embrace Taiwan, and Taiwan vice versa, this connection. Yeah. So of course, coming from Singapore and having been a follower of contemporary art scene of different media, not just contemporary theatre, but crossing to music and cinema as well. That I think there's a big challenge for me as a curator to start to bring both Taiwan and the region artistically closer to each other as a dialogue. Yeah. So for instance, it's important to note demographically, Taiwan is made up of a growing majority of Southeast Asian migrant or second generation mixed marriage. Yeah. So like the rest of East Asia or the 5 tiger economies, Taiwan since the 80s has been actively attracting migrants from Southeast Asia into its land. So hence the connections and the social need to recognize migrant second generation Southeast Asian people as part of Taiwan. And also with the ensuing governmental policies to activate more flows, cultural flow, as well as business and political relations with the region. It is definitely part of my mission as a curator here to find productive ways of bringing artists from both sides together. But this dialogue, I must stress, is a dialogue. It cannot be instantly turned into production for consumption, for spectacle, or for political rhetoric. Yeah. It's got to start from individuals. So I'm focusing on singular individuals with the intent and desire and a stick to want to come into interaction with the other side, be it Southeast Asian artists coming to Taiwan or vice versa. So this space for dialogue is what I have to provide. It takes time, naturally, and it means investment of resources, of energy, and resourcefulness on all levels to push the dialogue into engagement. You know, so maybe the dialogue starts in the first year, second year, you know, some kind of exchange, and then third year, the idea for a collaboration begins. Yeah. So I think it would be a challenge to me as a curator to provide the best conditions for this to happen, but we will spare no efforts in making this full and positive for dialogue.